meet and greet the customer. The moment that customer pulls up on our lot, certain things go into motion. Certain things happen. The road to the sale is not a bunch of things you say, it's a bunch of things we do in reality. Does that make good sense to you? How many times have I been in a car dealership and I call myself an old car dog, so I'll call some of us old car dogs. I mean, I'll walk up and there's some old car dog out there smoking. Now, as I told you previously, I admire people that smoke. I will go through my whole life wondering how I'm going to die. You've made a decision. But I'll pull up on the lot and people out there smoking cigarettes. And the customer pulls up and that customer becomes an intrusion. Damn, I just lit it. Let me lay it on the ledge, still burning, and see if I can blow these people out. How many dealerships in this room have burned down to the filter cigarettes on the ledge? How many people wouldn't raise their hand no matter what I ask? Okay. Hit that customer 3 steps out of the car. Hit that customer with enthusiasm, energy, and a winner's walk. When you walk out the door, the first affirmation. Everybody, come on. Showtime! 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 Come on, louder! Showtime! Loud! Showtime! Showtime! Wake them up! Showtime! 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 Stop! Don't you feel good for that? I started doing that when I sold cars personally. Most of my business, most of the time, were customers that I generated, people I pulled out of the community. But on Saturdays, I was out there with a pack, up-rich environment, I'm out there. And I'm standing off to the side, and here comes an up I'm going to hit. Showtime. I do that little motion. That little motion was flipping the switch. You saw me before this seminar started, didn't you? Was I as animated as I am right now? Was I? Showtime. I flipped the switch. It's time to deliver. It's showtime. Don't ever hit that customer with a dead-ass, low-energy attitude. When you walk out there, it's showtime. Does that make sense? You walk out there with enthusiasm, energy, eye contact, double-handed handshake. Welcome. My name's Jim Ziegler. Your name is?
Kip Wade.
Kip, I am so pleased you're here. Man, I'm glad you're here. They don't hear that anywhere else. I'm glad you're here. Tell the people that. And look like you're glad they're here. I see people that say welcome, it doesn't look anything like welcome. Their facial expression, their voice. When you say welcome, look like welcome. And the customer says, why are you glad I'm here? I'm glad you're here because it's December, it's Christmas, and my kid wears $150 Reeboks. I am so glad you're here. I'd be really sad if you weren't. Does that make sense? Love these people. They're the only reason we exist. Walk out that door with energy, eye contact, enthusiasm. Don't sneak up on the people. Now you got to remember, I'm a professional manager. And as a professional manager, I can't tell you how many times I walk out and a salesperson be standing out there and I say, what are you doing? I'm waiting to see what they land on. Well, if you don't go catch them, I'm going to see what you land on. Hit those people 3 steps out of the car. Don't. And when you hit the people, give them your card. Give them your card the moment you make contact. The moment you make contact, I give the wife the card first. That's something I've been doing recently. Why do you give the wife the card first? Because she is the decision maker. And the reason she's also the deal killer. Wives are deal killers. Now, Ziegler, you're such a sexist. No, I'm not. Let me explain. Wives are deal killers because they, in most households, are the family bookkeepers. In most households, the wife pays all the bills, writes all the checks. She is the one afraid of the money. Bubba, he'll say yes to anything, but it's Martha that you got to sell the car to, right? She's got the money, she's got the checkbook. I generally will even introduce myself to the wife ahead of the husband. And I give them my card. Here's my card, here's my card, here's my card. I give little children my business card. Nobody ever gets offended if you give a 5 or 6 year old a business card. The more business cards now why am I doing this when I first meet them? What is your first name? Brian, why am I doing this when I first meet them? I'm building rapport. Why else am I doing this, Sean?
Making them all feel welcome.
Why else?
Don't want them to forget your name.
It humanizes you. They got your business card and you become a person. I've seen them cheat. Hey, excuse me, Craig. And you become a person quicker. To be a good car salesperson, you've got to have precision selling skills and precision social skills. Does that make sense? You got to be able to win these people over quickly because they don't like you at first. They made up their mind before they ever met you not to like you. And you've got to get precision closing skills, precision social skills. You've got to get these people to like you, and it starts with knowing your name and you knowing their name. Now, I want some confession here. How many people walked around with a customer earlier this week and you've been with these people 2 hours and you didn't know their name? Come on now, admit it. So you decide to get cute. You said, how do you spell that last name, sir? And he said, Jones, you moron. Right? How many times? It takes a special skill to focus in and remember their names. Now, the one thing I'm going to tell you about that is, now listen carefully. I don't want to be misquoted on this. Get on a first name basis with your consumer if it makes sense. If it makes sense. Now, if you're a 21-year-old young man and you got a blue-haired lady and her white-haired husband, maybe calling them Fred and Martha might not be comfortable. It's got to make sense. But if you can get away with getting on a first name basis with these people, get away from Mr. and Mrs. whatever. You are a consultant. You're not a subservient person. You're not a waiter in a restaurant looking up to them. You're on the equal level. You're making their transportation decision with them. Make good sense? First name basis is where relationships start. You can't always get away with it. True? But when you can get away with it, you need to know it. Remember Clint Eastwood? A man's got to know his limitations, or I'm sure he meant a person, but, right? Clint was a little ahead of his time in the 70s. You got to know what you can do. And you can generally sense it. I don't yes sir and no sir a lot of people. I don't put myself on any level below the customer unless I have to. That make good sense? I'm a consultant doing a consultant sale. I try to be on their level. Showtime. When you turn that switch on, January 16th, 1998, Ennis Cosby was killed in a holdup. Who was Ennis Cosby? Bill Cosby's only grown son. That man's 70 years old. He's never going to raise another child to adulthood. He was in grief. But 3 or 4 days after that happened, he was on television doing comedy. Because he is a professional, and it was showtime. Does that make sense? When you walk out that door, you leave all your personal grief on the steps. I don't care what your kids are doing in school, what your ex-husband, ex-wife's doing. I don't care about your bill collect. Leave all that behind. These customers get the full focus and enthusiasm when you walk out that door. 100% of the time. How many people in this room are managers? Okay, as a manager, your job is to cause them to be a success. As a manager, your job is not popularity. When I'm a manager, I hope you like me, but that's optional. My job is to cause you to make good money to take home to your family or whoever you care about, and that is your job as a manager. Your job as a manager is to develop people, not do their work for them. When you're off the desk taking a TO, that's the wrong thing. you should take TOs some of the time, but you should work through your people instead of for your people. Does that make sense to you? The managers in this room, when I talk to you, I'm telling you right now, they don't want friends. They want leaders. They don't need you to be their pal. They need you to be an effective leader and an effective supervisor. And as a manager, you should have hyper-awareness of every deal in progress as that deal is happening. You need to know what's going on out there. Most deals that are blown because of inappropriate behavior of a car salesperson. True or false? Now, anybody want to disagree with that? Most deals that are blown because of inappropriate behavior of a car salesperson. Do you agree with that? Did I say you were evil? Did I say you were malicious? No, I just said we do inappropriate things. Now, if I were selling cars at your dealership, I probably too would do inappropriate things. It doesn't mean you're bad or evil or malicious. The people spend 90% of their experience with you. 90% of the time they're on the lot. Who are they with? If the deal got blown, who must have blown it? Unless we accept that responsibility, we'll never get better. The number one thing you do that blows your deals, that takes the Reeboks out from under the Christmas tree, the number one thing you do that hurts you is premature discussion of figures. The consumers get you talking about money prematurely. What I'm going to tell you to do today is we're not going to sell to the customer's logical mind. We're going to sell to the customer's emotional mind. Does that make good sense to you, Tim? Yes, it does. Sell to the customer's emotional mind, not to their logical mind. To get the customer emotionally involved in me personally, where they like me. Emotionally involved in the product, where they're excited about it. Emotionally involved in the dealership. Why would you buy from this particular location? What's so special about us? You can buy a Chrysler product any number of 4,000 other places. Why would you do it right here? That is part of the sale. The immediacy of the sale. So when I say showtime, I used to do that little motion every time before I caught it up. Okay, turn it on, Ziegler. It's showtime. Here they come. The second affirmation, I call it the affirmation of determination. You're going to buy it here. You're going to buy it now. You're going to buy it from me. Everybody write that down. Here, now, from me. Everybody say that. Here, now, from me. Here, now, from me. I am not in the be-back business. They don't be back, statistically. How many people have been in the business less than a year? What do we call you? You're green peas. That's a good thing. Being a green pea is an exalted title. Expertise is a disease. Those of you who are green peas, don't be ashamed of that. Stay a green pea, because there's other people in this room too smart to make any money. And all you green peas, just remember I said this, about 90 days into it, you're going to catch that expertise disease. Whether you get cured or not is going to be the question. You don't need to know too much. Here, now, from me. We are in the now business of selling cars. Cars are not your inventory, ladies and gentlemen. Your time is your inventory. That's all you got, your time. Would you agree with that statement? Cars are the dealership's inventory. You personally, Scott, time is your inventory. And if you spend 2 hours of your time and these people leave without an automobile, you have lost 2 hours of your personal inventory that you can never get back. Now, if you're sitting there justifying, well, Mr. Ziegler, I had an up that came back one time and bought a car. How many didn't come back? Well, Mr. Ziegler, you're a high-pressure salesman. What tipped you off? Of course I'm a high-pressure salesperson. People don't disrespect a high-pressure salesperson. They disrespect a bad one. When you're good, they never know it happened. when you help them to make the decision they came to make. People want to make this decision. Did you ever have a customer that was rude to you?
Yeah.
How many people had a customer that was rude and surly and, come on now, every one of you. And you took it personally, didn't you? I mean, you couldn't believe that these people were so rude. And then they bought the car and they got nice. Didn't they? All of a sudden, they became nice. Well, you see, they were nice people all along. It was never about you. It was always about the decision they didn't want to make. It wasn't personal. Anybody that walked out the door would have got the same treatment. It was about the decision. You have to push the people to make the decision. I have a son named Zachary Ziegler. Does that name have testosterone in it? Zach Ziegler. Could a kid named Zach Ziegler ever possibly grow up to be a wimp?
No.
You won't see this child toe dancing on Broadway, I promise you. Zach Ziegler. Has that name got some testosterone?
Yes.
Well, he's 18 now, but when he was 14, how many people have teenagers? Let me see where you're at. Okay, you'll relate to this. When Zach was 14, he came to me one day and he said, Dad, do you know what a GoPed is? Now, Kevin, do you know what a GoPed is?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
It's a motorized scooter.
A motorized scooter, he said. Well, he's right. Well, I did not know what a GoPed is. Did you?
No.
Did you know what a GoPed was? Well, anyway, Zach came up to me and said, Dad, do you know what a GoPed is? I said, son, I got no idea. Now, that left me open for like feature and benefits presentation. He says, Dad, a GoPed is a skateboard with handlebars on it. It's got a 3.5 horsepower gasoline engine. It goes 35 miles an hour, and every child in the free world except me's got one. I said, son, how much does one of these GoPeds cost? He says, Dad, they got different options, but the one I want's about $650 nicely equipped. I said, son, did I not just buy you a $650 BMX titanium trick bike? He said, yeah. I said, son, did I not just buy you a $400 set of inline skates? He said, yeah. Didn't we get a $280 paintball gun? He said, yeah. I said, son, maybe Christmas. Let's wait for Christmas and come back and revisit the GoPed. Now, this was like May. Now, those of you that have teenagers, is that the last I heard of it? He goes up to the top of the stairs and he comes back down. He said, Dad, I've been thinking. I said, I hope to hell you weren't thinking about a GoPed. Would you pick that up? I said, I hope you weren't thinking about a GoPed. He stormed away again. A couple days later, I was in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I was doing some private seminars for the Pennsylvania Auto Dealers Association. And my little handheld PDA gets email. And I got an email from my son, Zachary. Never got an email from a boy before. It says, Dad, we love you and we miss you. And it had a little blue link in it that said, click here. GoPed has a website. A couple days later, I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm still working for the PAA. And my wife is on the phone. And she's shrieking. And when she shrieks, I know there's a problem. I said, what's the problem? She said, GoPed. Put him on. Zachary, now you listen carefully. Your life may depend on your interpretation of the conversation we're about to have. Zachary, your mother is upset. I travel 250 days a year. I'm only with you guys Friday and Saturday and Sunday. And she's still pissed off when I get home and you ruin my weekend. son, it's going to be awful for you. Now listen carefully, Zachary. There's never going to be a GoPed in this house in a million, billion, trillion damn years. I'm from the South. Damn is a two-syllable word. Damn years. Now, son, if you mention the word GoPed to another living human being, if you accidentally say GoPed, if you accidentally whisper the word GoPed in 15 REM deepest sleep, I'll beat you till you bleed. Not in a million, billion, trillion damn years there's going to be a GoPed in this house. You got it? Yes, sir. I handled that. You should have seen the child on this thing. It really did go 35 miles an hour. Not only did he close us out on the GoPed, after all of that, within 6 months he talked us into upgrading for the Bigfoot off-road model. Nobody in this room is as good a closer as Zachary Ziegler is. But every one of you used to be. You want to know how to get your dealership up to 500 units? Fire you guys and hire a bunch of 14-year-olds. Because they don't know how to take no for an answer, do they? Who back here has got teenagers? Are they working you? It's Christmas. Are they working you?
Absolutely.
Are they working you?
No,
They're not?
no, she is not working.
She's not working you for stuff? No, she's there's nothing she wants. Is she really unusual? She must already have everything. How many people are your children working you right now for Christmas? They take no for an answer? No. They regroup and reclose? Yes. You're going to buy it here, you're going to buy it now, you're going to buy it from me, and that's that. Now here comes the first word track. Mr. Customer, Mrs. Customer, if you could own this car on your own terms, that's your terms, you'd own it now, wouldn't you? Everybody hear that word track? You're going to have to write it down to keep it. Now you notice I didn't say buy this car. Buying is a bad word. Owning is a fun word. Buying sucks. Owning's fun. If you could own this car on your terms. Now, sir, that's your terms. Ma'am, that's your terms. You'd own it now, wouldn't you?
Yes.
You see me helping them say yes? Great, Mr. Customer. Let's pick one out and drive it. We'll get with the management and discuss your terms. Fair enough? Everybody heard the fair enough at the end of that? Whenever you're closing a customer, challenge their fairness. That's fair, isn't it? Sir, that's fair, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. All we require is you select and drive a vehicle before we discuss figures. Don't ever tell a customer you're going to negotiate. Negotiate means you're going to cut your price. I never negotiate before we discuss figures. My management does require we select and drive a vehicle before we discuss figures. But sir, let me assure you, now listen to this word track, there'll be no pressure to buy whatsoever. Fair enough? When you tell the customer on the lot there'll be no pressure to buy, it takes all the pressure out of the deal. They lower their shoulders and they stop coming at you. Mr. Customer, there'll be no pressure to buy whatsoever. Fair enough? Get you all the information you need, but my management does require we select and drive a car first. Customer that doesn't drive your car statistically won't buy your car. I mean, if they accidentally do buy it, they won't pay for it. True? Drive my car is one of your missions when you walk out the door. There's only two things you're trying to accomplish. The now commitment and drive my car. That's all you want to do on the parking lot.